I remember he came into my chat for the first time and he was just like, hello. And I was like, hi. And now he's like, where's Mrs. Lanko? I'm like, what the who are you? I'm like, what? And I'm like, and then my wife, and she tells me like the next day, she was like, my student found you. I was like, that was your student? I was like, oh.
I shouldn't be taking off my shirt on stream.
or cursing.
Everybody, welcome to the 4th episode of Brews and Q's. Hosting myself, B-Mac, also along with Peter Pan. And today we are hosting Sweet Jonny Burgers, a.k.a. Johnny Lunchtime. John, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Always good. Always good.
Glad to be here, gentlemen.
So, John, tell us a little bit about yourself here.
So my name is John. I'm 37 years old. I'll be 38 in 2 months. Yikes. Actually, 1 month. Holy sh! No, wait. Yeah, no. What do you mean? April? May? No, 1 month. Holy. So I'm 37. I'll be 38 next month. I currently work for Verizon Wireless. So if you have Verizon, hit me up. I am also a part-time streamer as well. I stream on Twitch primarily. I have a wife and one baby boy who's going to be 2 years old next month as well. So living the dream.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Kick things off.
Let's jump into it. Question numeral uno.
Yes.
John,
Yes,
what
sir.
inspired you to start streaming? Like, what got you into it?
So I streamed a little while ago, probably about 4 years ago, primarily because it was like the thing to do. But I got like no viewerships and I wasn't very good at certain games. And also there was such a huge inflation of people streaming that, I was at the very bottom. And so what got me back into it was Call of Duty, basically. I started playing Call of Duty with a coworker of mine, and I sucked. I was horrible at the game, and I wanted to get better. And what way to get better is to watch professionals play. And I was seeing like how much money they were making doing it, and I was like, this would be really cool if one day I could just play games for a living and get paid for it. And so I had purchased a new computer and I was like, I can set my old computer up as a new way of streaming myself. And so that is what kind of kicked off my adventure in streaming. I've been doing it for a little over 2 years now. So.
Awesome. So what games are you currently streaming?
So as of yesterday, I am probably not going to stream Call of Duty anymore just because I'm getting tired of all of the issues that the game has. But Call of Duty was the main game that I played, and I've gotten more into Valorant. That kind of gives back to my days of playing Counter-Strike.
Awesome.
And so that's the two games that I'm primarily playing, but I think Valorant's going to take the top.
Valorant's been on the top streaming list. Like every time I look, it's like always one of the top games, which is pretty cool. Like really, I didn't really hear much about it, and from watching you, I think a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh, this game looks pretty sweet.
Yeah, it kind of takes like the presence of Counter-Strike from back in the day and also brings in a little bit of element of Overwatch because you have those instead of having like utility, you have spells, which are kind of utility in a sense. It's got a different dynamic to it because it's not your typical, first-person shooter game because it's not just like you running around, you're shooting and you have strats and stuff like that. There's elements of the game that can change the course of the entire outcome of a round. And so there's good and bad with that because obviously if you have that mentality of playing Counter-Strike, you know that there's only one way to win a round. That's either planting the bomb, defusing the bomb, or killing the entire opposing team. Whereas with this game, you have these abilities that can shift the total outcome of a round. And I mean, it happened last night actually in one of my games. So It's incredible.
That's pretty cool.
I've been having a blast playing it.
I have to give it a try. I've yet to play Valorant or Overwatch yet.
Yeah, so I mean, I played Overwatch for a little bit back when it first came out. And I know Overwatch 2 is coming out, and they've kind of redesigned the game to a certain aspect, but they're also bringing the original characters in as well as adding new ones. So I've heard some, pros and cons and good and bad about the game. So we'll see. But yeah, Valorant's definitely a blast to play. It's less stressful than playing Call of Duty. I can tell you that.
Call of Duty, I feel like every time I get on to play, I have to be a sweat. I can't just casually play it anymore. It's like I have to go full on try mode, basically try hard.
Yeah, I mean, so I primarily played in Caldera. And I was trying to get my team to switch over to Rebirth, but they don't like the aspect of respawning over and over and over again. I know, right? But the thing is that they're all about their KD, right? And so they think that if you die and you lose your equipment and you respawn, that you're just gonna die again and again and again and again and again and again. But the games are so much quicker that game that you were just in, you just put to the back of your head and you move on to the next one.
Not only that, it's 2 KDs. I think Caldera's got its own KD ratio versus Rebirth. It's separated.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So it wouldn't really matter.
Well, that's why. Well, my one friend, he says, well, it doesn't really count because it's not the main game. And I can understand that because it's a side. It's a separate type of mode altogether. But at the end of the day, it's the same objective. You try to get first place.
What's funny is that if we talked about this argument about a year ago when everyone was on Verdansk and we all love and miss Verdansk, people would say, I try to tell my boys, let's play some Rebirth. And I go, Rebirth doesn't count. Rebirth ones don't count.
Right.
And now, present day right now, everyone's all about the Rebirth.
I see so many videos on TikTok, and it's all of these loadout videos and all these
Rebirth.
It's all Rebirth.
Yeah.
And I'm that's probably one of the reasons why I'm I look at my view count for my videos that I post, and just the other day, I posted a 26 kill win on solos with the new AX50 because everything changed with the snipers.
It's filthy.
And I got 300 views. But then I post a 28 kill win on Rebirth and I have 700 views.
Yeah.
It's insane how the viewing is more catered towards Rebirth because I feel like it takes more skill in Rebirth than on Caldera because Caldera is such a huge map that you can literally just sit in a spot for the entire game, whereas a Rebirth, you're constantly having to move around.
With Rebirth, you got to constantly be watching, using your eyes. Like you said, Caldera, I feel like I can just be a lot more lazy about it.
Yep. And
still get away, but with Rebirth, I got to I understand that 100%.
Yeah.
Brian,
it's you.
Oh, was that?
That was no, I think question one.
My question. That was. I got lost in the train of thought there. Sorry. Question number 2 I got for you.
Yeah.
So you might have already answered this, but what game did you start streaming with? What was all right, now I'm going to start streaming. This was the first one I'm going to start streaming with.
So back in the day, I streamed Counter-Strike all the time. That was my game that I streamed because that was the game that I was playing 100% of the time. There was no other games. I was playing World of Warcraft here and there, but the group of friends that I was playing with were constantly jumping between this game and that game and what have you. But I mainly wanted to, and one other thing to kind of get back to the first question is the other reason why I decided to start streaming, to kind of jump back real quick, is because you always have those situations where you come out on top and you're like, just do that. And it's you have a memory of that. I can go back and say, I did that. And I remember growing up playing Counter-Strike with one of my friends, one of the things he always said to me was, screenshot or it didn't happen. And if you didn't screenshot, your win in Counter-Strike, it fabrically didn't happen, right?
It didn't count, didn't matter.
This gives you proof of that. And to go back and be able to see those different those clips and those different gameplays, it's really nice. But to get back to your question, Counter-Strike was the main game that I played with a little bit of World of Warcraft in between. And then now, obviously, Call of Duty, quote, and then Valorant as well.
What was
So?
Go ahead, Pete.
So what I was going to say is when you were saying earlier about how clip it or it doesn't count, I had the same instance this morning. I played for an hour and I was like, let's just try this new ZRG meta. And I dropped like 10 kills with it. I'm like, oh my God, I wish I was recording this right now. And of course I wasn't. So it was like missed content.
Yep. No, yeah, and I mean, so obviously with a lot of streamers, like they have different schedules, and like that's one of the things that a lot of the top streamers say is like you need to have a schedule. You don't have to play every single day, but those are the days where something incredible could happen and you miss it. And I remember back in Verdansk playing Call of Duty, and I wasn't streaming because it was my day off, even though I was still playing. And I knocked 2 people out of a helicopter, the driver and the passenger, in one shot.
Nice.
And I wasn't streaming. And I was like,
I did that once
I have
too.
no proof of that now, and it happened, and it sucks.
I'm so mad at myself.
Yeah. Happens all the time. So that's why I stream every single. Dude, and it's just like that. And that's one of the reasons why I try to stream as much as I possibly can. Like I do it primarily on my days off because, you know, my son's at daycare, my wife's at work, I'm home. I'll stream during the day and then I'll stream at nighttime. So I try to stream as much as I possibly can. It's not tiring, but it is. Because you're trying to, you know, keep up with the interaction of chat when I do have chat. You know, normally I usually only have about 3 to 5 people, and it's usually like myself. But yeah, so yeah, to answer your question, Call of Duty and Counter-Strike to start.
What was the earliest Counter-Strike you played? I remember 1.6.
I played from 1.3 all the way into CS:GO.
Nice.
So I played it right when they made the initial changes to like the AWP not having a actual reticle. It was actually a scope. And the M4 had a scope. They took away the scope. And then they gradually took away the ability of bunny hopping, which was fucking stupid. Because you could literally bunny hop across the entire map and not get hit once because you were so fast. It was great. It was great. So, but yeah, those are the days. And I also played competitively too. Back when I played Counter-Strike in high school and college and a little bit outside of college, I played competitively. And it was so much fun. It was a blast.
Awesome. That's pretty cool. I always loved that game. It was always so much fun, especially if you had like a good group of guys going in.
Yep. Yeah. We actually talked about that last night, the guys that I play Valorant with, because they're liking the game because it reminds them of playing Counter-Strike, but they want to get rid of all the other elements. And so we talked about maybe going back and playing CS:GO, but you know, to really play on a dedicated good server, you have to pay for it. Although there's Faceit, which is free, and their servers have a higher tick rate than like the regular matchmaking of, you know, Counter-Strike. Every time I'm looking at my monitor. I should be looking at the camera, but I'm looking at the monitor because I'm looking at you guys, and I don't know if it's weird or not, if I should be staring here or staring here.
I honestly, I have you guys on this monitor, even though my camera's here, so it's
fine. Okay.
Like right now, I'm looking right at you. It just looks weird.
Oh.
So I'm just like, I'm just gonna look straight down.
We can see how big your forehead is.
All right, Brian.
All right, so you are asked to make an action movie. We did this last week, and we did comedy movie last week. This week we're doing action. So you get to pick 3 actors to make this a box office hit. Who do you pick?
So first, I mean, I thought about this like probably the first hour and a half of my morning. Ryan Reynolds for sure. He has to be in it.
Ryan Reynolds is a great choice.
Yes. It came down to 3 other people. The first person I originally thought of was Jason Statham because I think he's a great action star. But having seen multiple videos or movies where you have these 2 actors collaborating with one another. So like, I don't know if you've ever seen what is it? The Hitman's Bodyguard. With
Oh yeah,
it's-
yeah.
yeah. So Samuel L. Jackson and Ryan Reynolds, and their chemistry in that movie is just phenomenal. It's hilarious, but at the same time, they're doing such action-packed scenes, and so that's why I decided to go with Samuel L. Jackson as my second person.
Nice.
And then my third person was between Jason Statham originally, and then you got Denzel. Like, you cannot go with Denzel. Like, I was just watching The Equalizer last night on TV, and I was just like, he's just a complete badass. So those would be my top 3 actors, and I think they would probably knock it out of the park.
What's your favorite Ryan Reynolds movie?
Not Deadpool. Not talking about. I mean, Deadpool for sure, 100%. But that's a given.
Yeah, that's what he's known for. But outside of that, so I really thought he was good in The Change Up with Jason Bateman. I thought that was a pretty funny movie.
Oh yeah.
I've yet to see Free Guy, but I've heard really good things about it. So I'm looking
it.
forward to seeing that. Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
And then his most recent movie, which was on Netflix. What the hell was it called?
Oh, the one with the kid.
with The Rock, Red Notice.
No. It was The Addams Project.
The one with the kid.
I didn't see that
with
one.
the kid. Yeah. That was a really good movie. So, I mean, a lot of his movies that I've seen have been all great, but like more recently, like aside from Deadpool, like those 2 movies, like I definitely want to see Free Guy. But The Addams Project I thought was really good. So that would probably be my other movie that I would say I like Ryan Reynolds in.
Nice. Have you ever seen?
Nice.
Speaking of Denzel, have you ever seen Training Day?
Yes.
Oh, dude, I could watch
Ethan
that.
Hawke.
Never saw it.
A million times. I could watch.
You
it.
never saw Training Day?
I don't know what's wrong with me. Should I go watch it after this?
You probably should. You probably should.
It's definitely like if I had to pick like a top Denzel movie, that's probably it.
Me?
Oh, for sure.
Me, American Gangster.
American Gangster is good.
That's probably my favorite Denzel movie. I mean, I haven't seen Training Day, but
yeah,
American Gangster.
He was also good in Inside Man with Clive Owen.
That's it.
That movie, I have to say, was like just pure genius. The whole concept of the movie and how they portrayed everything, which is phenomenal. And it's like, wow, like why wouldn't I have thought of that? So if you have time, I would recommend seeing that one as well because it's a really good movie.
So going off of movies, you're obviously into your TV.
Yep.
Goes on to our next question.
Yes, it does.
What are you currently binging? Is there something that you're really hooked on or that you recommend? If you're not watching currently, what would you recommend binging?
So I just actually finished Moon Knight. I watched Moon Knight on Disney Plus. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it.
Seen it.
Yeah, it was I was confused about the ending, but then I was explained basically what it was, and like just the whole series in itself was phenomenal. And I've liked every single one of the Marvel series that has come out. WandaVision was kind of like but I mean, Falcon and the Winter Soldier was phenomenal. Moon Knight was phenomenal. And then what was the other one?
Loki.
Loki was 10 out of 10.
Top tier.
100%.
Top tier.
Yeah, 100%. But so one of the people that I actually follow on TikTok, he actually is I think he's French. He's a French baker, and he actually has a Netflix series called The School of Chocolate. And my wife and I, we binged that for a straight, like it's only one season right now, but we watched it within like the first like 3 days.
That's on Netflix. School of Chocolate.
Yeah, basically he's a fucking genius, to be frank. But he takes sculptures and creates these massive masterpieces, and it's all chocolate.
Did you
so
see
like if you look at like an octopus, it's all chocolate. Look at a crane, it's all chocolate. And so he's teaching these other, bakers and pastry chefs how to incorporate chocolate into their respective fields. And then going off of that, we also then ended up watching Is It Cake? Which I thought was that TV show was actually really, really funny. But
over here.
I know, right? Every night we watched, I was like, babe, can we make cake? Like, I just want a yellow cake. I don't care if it's shaped like anything. I just want cake. And she's like, no, you're
I
fat.
don't care.
Exactly.
That squid that guy did, that was incredible. Absolutely
you've seen
incredible. Yeah, yeah.
You've seen it?
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't seen it.
I haven't
Yeah.
watched the show. I haven't watched the show, but
You watched that clip
when
now,
I'm
right?
shooting through the Facebook reels because I don't really look at TikTok much, but
Right.
I saw the squid today, and I was like, holy,
Yeah.
insane! Like the amount of work he put into that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine how many days it takes to make something like that.
It was a cake, right?
No. It's chocolate. So it's like either hollowed out chocolate,
Yeah.
or it's a solid piece of chocolate.
I'll have to look that up.
But it's funny because during the series, every episode they would walk into their new challenge and he would have something different that he created. And one of the days he actually had a hanging chandelier, literally hanging from the ceiling, and it was made out of all chocolate.
That's crazy.
Like it's incredible. Like he's beyond talented in every aspect. So those are my TV shows that I've been binging, but they're over now, so I don't know what I'm gonna watch next. I've been getting more into the medieval TV series too. So I watched The Last Kingdom, which is on Netflix.
I heard that's good.
So it was phenomenal. And I think they're actually going to end up doing another season. But that whole series, I think it's 6 seasons so far. Phenomenal TV show, 100%.
Nice.
It was great.
All right.
So next, so for I don't think we mentioned it in the icebreaker, but you are a hockey player. You played through high school. You played on our men's league roller hockey team.
I sure did. We won a couple of championships.
We did win some championships together. we made some jokes the other week about like we always win the championship when you're on that team. I don't know what it is. For some reason we always win when you're on the team.
Yeah.
So
some barbecue sauce.
Leading to my question.
Yeah, I got a little off track.
Oh no, it's all good. So question number 5.
Ask the question.
Question number 5 is,
yes,
who is your favorite hockey player of all time? Let's try to keep the great one out, but if you had to pick someone other than Gretzky, who would it be?
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned that because I was talking to my wife on the way home, and I was like, I don't know who to pick. Like, there's nobody that really comes to mind except for obviously, which is everybody's, which is Wayne Gretzky, and I'm like, but that's because he is the greatest of all time. So, if you're asking me the question, who is the greatest of all time, it's him. But my favorite player of all time would have to probably be Martin Brodeur.
Nice.
Interesting
Good choice.
I do like that though.
Yeah, and so the reason behind it was growing up when I first started playing hockey, I actually was more of a goalie than an actual out center forward or defenseman because of how big I was. So on the street playing when we were kids, they were like, well, you should play goalie because you would be perfect for it. And I wanted to get better at it, and so I ended up doing a project on a hockey player and on a goalie specifically, and I chose Martin Brodeur because of how an inspirational person he was in learning the game of hockey, and more specifically in playing as a goalie. And he was a phenomenal goalie too for the Devils for I don't know how many years. And so when I said that to her, she was like, I remember you saying something before that Martin Brodeur had an impact you in your life. So there's the answer.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. I mean, he was essential.
He was only a Devil, right?
Yeah.
So 91 to 2015.
So that's what, 25 years, 26 years, 24 years?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's a long career.
That's a long career in hockey. Especially to go that long in hockey without any hiccups.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Of course, the game has changed, since
a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The Devils played a different kind of game than a lot of other teams. Like they were always, especially through the 90s, I think they were very like defensive oriented team. Like they weren't really big point scorers. At least from what I remember, I always thought they were like a defensive team first, and then they figured the good defense leading, to scoring would win them games. And
Right.
plus, with Brodeur back there, I mean, he was a great goaltender,
Mhm.
for the longest time. So
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I was just picking up on the next question. This is good. Uh, number 6. All right. So the zombie apocalypse has started.
Yep.
Where are you going, and what's your weapon of choice?
All right. Where I'm going.
I guess you could say for refuge.
So
Yeah,
I'd probably
safety.
go. I'd probably go to my parents' house because they have an enormous house.
they have a
Um,
fortress. It's literally a fortress.
A lot of square footage.
A lot of square footage. Weapon of choice. I mean, I'd probably go a katana or dual katanas. You know,
Thomas.
yeah, because
Slice everyone.
yeah, you get a little long range, and all you gotta do is slice off their head, and they're done. You're good, and they try to bombard you. You just spin in a circle with your blades out, and you just chop them all up.
That's a good
It's
strategy.
easy. Yeah. Well, listen, let me tell you, I played a lot of Left 4 Dead back in the day, and that like sometimes when you run out of bullets, you gotta pull out a machete. No bullets in it, and just start whacking away.
Speaking of Left 4 Dead, did you play Back for Blood by chance?
I did
I haven't played it.
for 2 days.
It's about all it's worth, to be honest.
I think I went through the because I know it was free for a short period of time. I think I was
Good?
given I mean, listen, I've been playing games in general for like I don't know how long, since I was like 16. So we're talking 21 years now.
Yeah.
And I'll even on like Twitch, because I've been with a part of Twitch for so long, with my original account, and I'll randomly just get like free stuff, and like I got Left 4 Dead for free, Battlefield 5 for free, and so I ended up getting Left 4 Dead for free to play during their like their pre-launch. And so I had a chance to test out the game beforehand, and it was fun. It was a blast. It was nice getting back into that particular type of game, that survival game. But it was just one of those things where it's just like, okay, like I had my fun. I'm gonna go back to my regular game that I play.
Mhm.
So I mean, if you look at like Twitch, I'm sure there's literally nobody watching somebody play Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
Obviously the top streamers played it when it first came out, for views.
And that's it.
But that was it. Like look at what the hell game was that? Oh, I can't think of it.
The recent?
Yeah, the game where the minion running up
Oh, it was free. It was a battle royale.
why can't
That's in the last interview,
Hold on.
Brian.
I gotta look this up because I gotta figure this out.
Were you like a
Dishes
minion?
was playing this game.
Oh,
I want to say Knockout.
Fall
but
Guys.
that's-
Fall Guys.
Yes, Fall Guys. Fall
Was that-
Guys. Yes, it
Yes.
is.
Fall Guys.
And so when that game was fun, but
Like
like
a week.
you had but you had like someone like Tim the Tatman, right? Biggest streamer in Twitch history between him and Nick Merckx. But
Him and March. Yep.
Tim had almost 1 million people watching him because he couldn't win. Like he had 500,000 people watching him and of course when he finally won, it was like the worst decision of his life to actually win, because it got so many views and so many people were watching him fail, and like he was being successful at it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he won, it was like, well, I mean, he won, so now let's just go back to our regular lives. But
He's
like
great.
those types of games have that real, and look at the Amazon game that just came out, New World,
New World.
right?
We were
like-
grinding that for like a good month.
I grinded that pre-release every day, And then the game came out, and I played it for 2 weeks. But then there was like not many other people were playing it, and I was getting ahead of them, and then one person was getting ahead of me. And then we were on different servers. I was actually a part of a squad. I don't know if you guys know who Towley is. Huge World of Warcraft streamer.
Yeah.
And so I got actually invited to his squad, his main Hammer Squad team for New World. But I was working every single day. And their wars were at on days where it was like 2:00 in the afternoon. I can't be a part of that.
Yeah.
Plus you have
Terrible timing.
right. Plus you have upwards of like 1,000 people that are all trying to get into that same war, and they only choose 50. So the likelihood of you getting chosen is like, what is that, 1 out of 5,000, 500?
Yeah.
And I never hit 60 because I just stopped playing because everybody else on my that I normally played games with stopped playing as well. So but it was just getting kind of boring, and it was becoming more of a World of Warcraft style game, and I just didn't like it. I actually, interestingly enough, I'm actually playing a game called Lost Ark, which is also by Amazon.
Heard
A
of
lot
that.
of people are playing that.
This game is actually a lot of fun. There's so much content in this game. It's incredible, and there's not a day goes by where I log in and I'm like, I can't not do something, because there's so much that I can do. I can do the main storyline, I can do side quests, I can do crafting, I can get my gear up. Like there's so much to do, and so like whenever I'm
ratings from what I
doing
see on
something
Google.
else, I'll play Lost. Like if I stop streaming like Call of Duty or Valorant, and I just want to continue to play a game while watching somebody else or whatever, I'll usually play Lost Ark.
Lost Ark's been out for a while, hasn't it? If I remember correctly, like it's been out for a while, but then Amazon bought it and rebooted the game, or not rebooted the game, but I forget if they just tried to like launch it a little more heavily in the United States, because I don't think it was here for a while.
I don't think it was either. Yeah, I think it was in here. I think it was a European game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and then they bought it, they launched it here. And then I think there are does still have a pretty decent following, but I know New World, that one kind of fell on its face.
Right.
And I think Amazon actually lost a lot of money on that, but Lost Ark is still doing pretty good.
Yeah, Lost Ark is doing great.
Amazon never loses money.
I know, right?
He just keeps making more and more. It's like Elon Musk.
It's like a piss in the bucket losing that money.
Yo, let me tell you, I saw this video the other day about Elon Musk. This man's got so much money, he could buy every football team, every baseball team, every hockey team, every soccer team, every basketball team, and he would still have $30 billion available.
He could probably buy every Formula One team too.
Yeah.
He's got so much money, it's stupid.
It's insane.
Then
he buys Twitter for $44 billion.
I saw a video this morning, actually, on the richest man ever in history, John Rockefeller.
Right.
Because he owned like 90% of the oil industry. Turns out he was worth like $900 million back then, or something like crazy number in the 1920s, which is equivalent today to like $600 billion.
Yeah.
So technically, Rockefeller is the richest ever, but I guarantee Elon Musk is going to pass that number in the next like 5 years.
Probably.
Yeah.
Once electric cars become a lot more prevalent,
mainstream.
I think he's gonna be sitting pretty for a while.
He's
not
good.
That he isn't
set.
already, but
right.
No, he's set for the next
ever.
What, 30? Yeah,
Next
he's set for life.
Period.
Yeah, he's done. Elon Musk.
Listen, he could sell all his companies and he'd get a severance of like $800 million and he'd be set for life.
Yep.
No, he's good. No,
He's great.
100 million, 10 million, he'd be good. So.
Yeah.
All right. Next question.
Moving on.
Question number 7.
Yes.
What is your favorite game series of all time?
So what do you mean by game series?
Like something that has like a progression. Like if you were to play, I don't know, all the Call of Duty series. If you were to play the Counter-Strike series, Metal Gear Solid's one.
Okay, so more specifically in video games, not specifically sports. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I was more heavily into playing Counter-Strike, I watched every tournament that was ever out. I watched all the professionals, FaZe, Navi, Cloud9, Complexity, 3D, the original, 1.3 and 1.6 players. I watched all of their tournaments growing up. And, having actually been to a huge tournament myself, it's a fun, and that's, where I met the majority of the people that I play with now is through that. And just everything as a whole, like seeing the different tournaments, and they go to different, countries, and you have Katowice, and then you have games in the United States. I mean, for Christ's sake, Philadelphia now has a gaming center, which is insane.
Nuts.
But I never really got into like the Call of Duty league, because it was mostly like search and destroy, which is essentially like Counter-Strike. And so it's kind of, to me, I always thought that Call of Duty was a knockoff of Counter-Strike. And then I finally started playing Call of Duty, and I realized it was a completely different game all in itself.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I started actually playing it, and I kind of pushed CS to the side, and I started focusing on playing Call of Duty, because it was just a different type of game altogether, and I had fun playing it. And I originally started playing it in multiplayer. And then I started playing the Battle Royale, and I'm like, I suck at Battle Royale, but I want to get better at it. And that's when I started watching a lot more of the streamers, and that's when I got better and better and better and better. But Counter-Strike in itself, the tournaments that I watched over the years, would probably be my best game series that I would have to choose from. Just watching all the different tournaments and all the different teams just going head to head for, cash prizes of $1 million is just awesome.
Yeah. I remember one of the first videos that actually got me into playing Counter-Strike was that boom headshot video. You remember that?
Yes.
I felt like that was one of the original videos on YouTube.
Yep.
But man, was that funny. Like back in the day, that was hilarious.
So growing up, one of the things that I saw a lot of videos. There's, if you ever, this is going back old school, there's actually a guy named BSL from the Block is the video, and it's basically a autobiography of him and his gaming career and everything like that. And I would watch these videos of all these different players, and like these videos that are surrounded around like the type of player that they are. And I actually did it myself. I would actually make videos of my content using, there was an old school program. I can't remember the name of it. I think it was like something FPS. But basically you would run it so one of the key things about playing Counter-Strike back in the day was that it would save your gameplay for you. And you can go back into the game and you could reload that game that you just played, and then there's a program that you could use to actually capture all of that content. And so I made a movie for myself. Unfortunately, that movie never got published because I accidentally deleted it. So I never actually saw the finished product.
Yeah.
And I was devastated. But watching these videos of all these different, professional players is just incredible. And it's inspiring to see what's out there for me to grab. So
I remember the software you're talking about, because I remember I used to play CDL back in the first Call of Duty and OGL back in the original Call of Duty for PC.
Right.
And I remember you had to send in videos after every match. If anyone ever was to call you out for aimbot or walls, like you had to send it in. And the programs would change constantly, but you always had to send them in, so you needed the software.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. It was, I can't remember what it was. I just remember because back in the corner of your screen it would say 99. It was the FPS.
Yeah.
For the program. But yeah. Brings back a lot of memories. It is crazy. It's crazy how far we've come from that. You know what I mean? Like going from, and the thing is that like when I was in college, I actually would binge Law and Order on Justin TV, because that's what Twitch originally was Justin TV. And one person just played every single video or TV show of Law and Order, and I would watch it every single day. It was awesome. And then I never thought to myself, like, I feel like 20 years ago or 10 years ago, if I had started streaming then, like what I would be doing now.
You'd be
And
retired. You'd be gaming all day long.
I
I
feel that the
I
same
know.
way.
I
Where,
know.
where if I would have started streaming like, 10 years ago when I've been gaming hardcore all these years, and what if? Where would I be?
Hmm.
Which brings me on actually to. Oh, sorry, if you wanted
No, take it away.
to. Yeah, finish on this one.
Hmm.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Hopefully.
I know this question is pertaining to my Twitch channel. So, you know, I it I feel like in the next 5 years, I'd like to be a little bit more of a known person. Not to say that I'm going to be like, top person, because that's obviously going to take a lot of dedication. And I think that the biggest thing now is getting myself out there and getting people to recognize who I am. But the problem is that it's so saturated in this market that there's got to be something that you can give to the audience that nobody else is. Um, and so I think one of the biggest things is that is coming up with different content that obviously is unique, but also shows like what type of streamer I am. And that's the thing is that one of the main reasons why I do in fact stream is I love talking. So having an audience come in and say, like just talk about just whatever you want, like obviously, I probably shouldn't be working off the clock, but if people have questions about their bill with Verizon, about it, I'll see what I can do. Like I'm here to help, right? But
Yeah.
also like, I play games and I stream for those memory factors and being able to go back and say like, that was an amazing clip. Like I didn't think I could pull that off, and I did, and I have proof of it. But I think that in the next 5 years, I definitely want to see a little bit more of an increase in viewership. I definitely want to start getting myself more out there with all the different platforms for social media. I know, like, obviously, this whole thing started because I posted a video on Facebook. Like, I just one day randomly decided, I'm just gonna post something on Facebook and just see what happens. And sure enough, like, boom, I have people that I've known for the last 5, 6, 7 years that also play games and do other things, and like there's a connection there. Um, and so like now I've started to push myself to post my content not only on TikTok but Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And so I'd like to see myself kind of raise the bar to that next level to get to that that 100-person viewership. And ultimately, I've already made the affiliate program with Twitch. So, people have the ability to subscribe to my channel, whether it be through Prime or their own money. I don't ever expect anybody to subscribe to my channel because I'm not there for the money. I have a full-time job. Okay. I do it for the fun of it. But being able to get, into that sort of higher up viewership would be phenomenal. And if my wife lets me, once my son gets a little bit older, obviously he'll probably be around 7 at that time, having him right next to me playing with me. If Call of Duty makes a huge turn this coming year with Warzone 2 and Microsoft ends up buying Activision and they turn the him and I just knocking out people left and right would be phenomenal and a lot of fun to do. I know there's already a 7-year-old out there right now named Rowdy Randy. Rowdy Randy is that his name?
Yeah, he got banned once, didn't he?
No.
Call of Duty took him down or something, right?
So he was required to make a video and make it go viral, right?
What?
So right. So he was a part of the FaZe
Clan.
Right. So but he was
Yeah.
trying to get in the FaZe. And
Yeah.
part of one of his challenges was to make a video go viral. So they corresponded or collaborated with Activision to ban him live on stream, but it was fake.
Really?
Yes. And so a couple of days after it actually happened, his dad posted on his social media that it was not true. He was not actually banned. It was a part of the project that he had to do for FaZe Clan. And like just looking at all of like how can you ban this kid, and like there's both sides of the story. Like obviously from a standpoint of legality, you have to be 13 years old to stream, right?
You know
But you have to have a guardian with you. if you're under the age of 13. And so his dad has to be, and I mean, his dad runs his channel anyway, but his dad has to be in view of the webcam at all times for them to be able to stream and for him to actually monetize off of that. But yeah, like, if we could play a game, even if it's not Call of Duty, just streaming, Roblox. I don't know, 6 years or 5 years with my son would be a phenomenal thing to experience. Side by side playing games with one another and enjoying it. And obviously, if the world wants to watch, come on over. I'm here.
100%, man. That's like I said, that's one of my dreams is like, to have a son or a daughter, and then, to one day like be able to sit there with my child and
Call of Duty.
Yeah, watch my son or my daughter just duty, and that's a goal of mine. That's what I want to see in the next 5, 6, 7 years. So, all right, speed round.
It's not a speed round, Pete. So we got
bonus round.
Yeah, bonus round. We got two surprise questions for you that you didn't get to prep for.
Right.
Pete, start with the first one.
All right. So I'm gonna switch one up on you.
Okay.
So we're talking about streamers earlier.
Yep.
Obviously, you've been watching streamers. Who's your favorite to watch?
Ooh. And that.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
So before all the horrific changes happened with like the map for Call of Duty, and you can see my cat in the background just walking around. He's probably gonna come up. Anyway,
pretty cat.
Yeah, he's getting fat though. So let's jump back a year, right?
I think I know where he's going with this.
Every single day, I watched Tim the Tatman and I watched Nick Merckx. I either watched them side by side because there's actually a way to watch multiple Twitches at the same time without having separate tabs. It's called multi-Twitch. But on some days I'd watch Tim, on some days I'd watch Nick. And I looked at Nick and I was like, this man has got it all. He's got, I see his subscription count. And it's like 70,000 people subscribe to his channel. And that's on top of all of the people that give him donations. This man's literally pulling in.
Too. Yeah.
Right. He's pulling in $200,000 a month.
He's definitely a multi-million-dollar per year guy.
100%. And so, but he stopped playing Call of Duty. He started playing Apex.
It hurt me, but
it hurt me too. And then Tim switched over to YouTube. Which is not a bad thing because I don't mind watching on YouTube, but it's like
YouTube.
I have fallen, and I've also tried to stream on YouTube too, because a lot of Tim had mentioned in a couple of his videos when he was streaming and stuff like that like there's a lot more, like the algorithm with YouTube is a lot easier to become noticeable, especially if you're posting clips and shorts and streams. You become more noticeable than on Twitch because you scroll through 1 million people on Twitch to get to the people that are at 3, 4, 5 viewers. I'm not gonna want to go all the way down there to watch one person, And there's actually been a couple of times where like I've been streaming and I've gotten rated. And I got rated by somebody who had 60 viewers, and I got rated by another person who had 85 viewers. And I was like, what the is this happening right now? Like I got 80 people watching me right now, and it was amazing. Like it was an amazing experience. But now, so I watch Symphony during the mornings when I wake up. I also started watching a guy by the name of Blue. Now, Blue, if you've never seen Blue, I recommend him because he has got to be the bad ever seen. He strictly plays solos, whether it be Rebirth or Caldera, and this man is a monster of a player. He's keyboard and mouse, keep in mind, and not many keyboard and mouse players are good. You have some really decent ones, but he's just on a whole nother level, and his movement and his knowledge and his precision on everything that he does is just absolutely phenomenal. The only problem is that he complains a lot. But then again, it's Call of Duty, so everybody's complaining. You know, you got killed by this person who's sitting in a corner because he's a rat, or you got killed by somebody who's on a rooftop because they're a roof camper, or you know, this guy's got 120 ping, or this guy's stream sniping me. Those types of things.
How do you play COD, by the way? If you don't mind me asking. How do you play COD, by the way? Keyboard and mouse or controller?
Oh yeah, keyboard and mouse.
Oh man, I feel like such a loser.
No, listen, so if you didn't know this already, because I don't know if you guys have what, AT&T and T-Mobile.
I use T-Mobile.
AT&T is what I have.
Not by choice.
Yeah.
Not by choice, but the wife wants.
So I found out that my company actually sells gaming controllers, whether for Xbox or PC or PS4.
Really?
Yes, and I get a discount on them too, which is nice. And I've contemplated on numerous occasions to try and play with a controller, strictly because of aim assist. I think it's the most overpowered feature.
Really, watch me play.
Pete will show you how to run that.
I'll tell you. I'll show you how aim assist goes. It sometimes it works.
Right.
Sometimes I fail miserably.
No, of course.
It's hit or miss.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, you know, I've been a part of those screaming matches that people post on you know, whenever an update goes out.
Slider and all that.
Do it just because they want attention, and they don't understand. But the thing is that, like, you know, obviously we have a company who has the money to put into this game to make the game better, and they simply just won't do it. Yeah. You know, and obviously this season 3, they've made some changes. The biggest problem that I have with Caldera is that there are so many trees, there's so many bushes that you can't drive anywhere. And when you do drive somewhere, you got someone above you who's going to drop a C4 on your car that you can't see. Right? It's all about going up and. But
literally the first thing I was going to say was the word tree, and you said trees.
Yes, I mean, and you can mount on it. Like, you can't mount in real life on a. You can't mount on a tree. Okay, you got to fucking tree before, or tape it to mount.
Thread it in.
But so I thought about playing on controller just to see how it would go. I actually tried plugging in my PS3 controller because it is Bluetooth compatible, but my computer just can't read it because it's too old. I'd have to download some software. I'm not doing that. But I thought about doing that and trying it out. But at the end of the day, like, I've always been a mouse and keyboard player, and I'm good at it. So, you know, if it's not broken, I fix it. Exactly.
Like I said, I've been playing on controller since I was like 4. And like I'd say 2003, 2004, I had a game PC back then, a Gateway. Played for like 4 years, then I went back to PlayStation, and I just got back into PC gaming. And again, I built this PC. Yeah. Just use a controller.
No, I mean, like, one of my buddies that I played Counter-Strike with growing up in high school, he actually was originally playing Call of Duty on his PS4, and he was playing with a controller, and he actually ended up building a computer and switching over to mouse and keyboard. But that's the thing, that, like, you know, growing up, the games that I played, like, I played GoldenEye on N64, but that was it. That was the only real first-person shooter I ever played on a console. Everything else has been PC. When I played Counter-Strike was strictly PC, so you had to use a mouse and keyboard. So from that point on, every game that I played that was a first-person shooter was mouse and keyboard. So just, you know, but then you had people who played console, like you played Call of Duty, the original Call of Duties. You played Halo,
Medal of Honor,
Medal of Honor, and those were all console games. And so you had to use a controller. And so a lot of people adopted that. And then I think that's one of the nice things about the newer games is that you can have a PC. I don't have a beer. You have a beer. I don't have a beer. So beer. I'm like, wait a second. I don't have a drink.
Justin, go get him a beer.
Yeah. Arnie.
He's like, I don't have a beer.
You got me a beer?
You just figured that out now.
She's drinking one right now. She's drinking a beer without me. What the fuck? Stop. You got 2 beers. Holy.
Just say I've been drinking this Pink Whitney for a while.
Pink Whitney? I thought you were drinking water there.
What were we talking about?
All right, so question number 2.
Yes, number 2.
So, if you had the opportunity to reboot a game that is no longer around, what would you pick?
It's no longer around. This is a tough one. because I go back and I know the original creators of Ultima Online, which was like kind of like one of those original like MMO games. They tried to reboot it, and it was called like Astralis or something like that. I can't remember the name of it. I mean, that would be nice, but I don't think. No, I'm trying to think, man. I mean, GoldenEye. Like, I'm always been a first-person shooter. I think if they made GoldenEye into like one of these types of like battle royale games, but like in the the presence of James Bond, I think it would be pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool.
That's a good
So-
choice. I always
like
loved
that
the
answer.
original GoldenEye. The James Bonds after that never really stacked up as well. I mean, they were fun.
Nightfire was good.
Which one?
Nightfire. It was on PS2. I had the Nightfire.
Oh yeah,
I think it
yeah,
was
yeah.
called.
Yeah,
That was
I
the
think-
only. Yeah, this wasn't bad.
I played one of them. I can't remember what game, which one it was. I think it might have been Nightfire, as a matter of fact. And I didn't really get into it because it was more of like a, like Ghost Recon. Was it Ghost Recon? Rainbow Six type game.
Oh, yeah.
And like I'm not like, even like for instance with Call of Duty, I'm not really a really big campaign type of player. I can't play a storyline in a first person shooter game. I want competition. I want to play against somebody who's either worse than me, the same as me, or better than me. And go head to head. You know what I mean? Like, I like the competitive aspect of the games that we have going right now, and that's why one of the reasons why like I'm really enjoying playing Valorant is because it's bringing me back to my high school days of playing Counter-Strike, even though it's like a completely different type of game altogether with the different abilities and stuff like that. It brings me back to that old school first person shooter where you got to just point and click, and that's it.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
Yeah. Well,
It's a
that's
great,
about all we got
great
for
time.
you.
I love it.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Burgers.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for hopping on with us tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was good catching up.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Let us
Maybe
know
see
when
you
you're
back at the rink soon.
Yeah, let us know when you're ready to come back to hockey.
I will. Definitely, for sure.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the 4th episode of Brews and Q's. If you're enjoying the content, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, boys.
All right.
We done recording? I got a fart.
But just do it.
I've been holding it for 12 minutes.
Just do it. A good
I
thing
didn't even hear it.
I didn't even stop recording.
I don't even care.
You do have the ability to mute your microphone and fart.
I don't care. I forgot about that the whole time.